Hi, everybody. It's Minnie Kansman, and here to host the Nature Adventures show on Star Nation's radio network here on Facebook. And joining me, of course, is my co-host, Neshi Lokotz.
Hello,
and
everybody.
today we're going to be talking about Earth centering. And about this time of going within, we've got winter, we've got cold weather here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's kind of like a hibernation is happening with our energy. And so we're going to talk about really what's going on, because a lot looks like it's hibernating, but there's a lot going on beneath the surface. So we'll be sharing that. We'll be talking about just the energy of Earth and that nurturing, holding embrace of Earth that we can tune into right now as well. And I see Neshi is doing her liking and sharing for us. And any of you out there listening, please, if you could help us out and like and share so that we can reach more people today with our show, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'll do a little bit too.
Got to spell right, though.
That's the hard part. Right. For me, it's always like finding where I was before I started the show. Here we are. So Nature Adventures, the name of our show, and it seems like our topics, there's so many to choose from, because Neshi and I love nature so much that every month is pretty easy to figure out what we want to talk about, because there's always something new. Tune into the seasons here. They often give us a cue about what's happening energetically, what's perhaps happening spiritually in your lives right now. As we tune into nature and be connected with her, what's happening with her is often reflected and shared with what's happening with us. So for me, this time of year is always a little difficult because I'm a gardener and I love to be out in the warmth and the sun and my bare feet on the ground, which is a little hard to do when it's 12 degrees out, and digging and the ground is frozen. So I have to really figure out how to be okay with that at this time of year. And my first fix is to go to the local garden center and just hang out in the greenhouse and find some beautiful plant that's really bright and colorful and bring it home so I can remember that is coming. And then the other part is just to really surrender and release. That's what's happening right now. You're not gardening. So what else can I do? I can plan. I can dream. I can envision what I might do with the garden this year, what vegetables maybe I'll grow. I did get a really cool freestanding planter from my in-laws for Christmas, and it's called a veggie trug from Gardener Catalog. And it's a veggie trug. It's shaped like a V, kind of. It's very big. It's like 4 feet by 2 feet, I think, and it's high, so it's easy to work in. And I'm going to put it on the end of my driveway and grow vegetables and herbs in it this year. So I'm looking forward to that, so I can plan that. And I've started doing yoga, and that helps get me grounded in my body and feeling good about not being as active in the summer. So how do you feel about this time of year, Neshi?
Well, it's about the time of year, January, that I'm always looking at Paul and saying, what are we still doing in Wisconsin? We have the whole world to live in, and we stay for the winters. Winter hasn't been all that bad, really. We haven't had any days below zero, none, which is kind of strange. But the actual time of year, you know what I like? You know what I really enjoy? This is going to sound a little strange. I do like the snowstorms. You know, when things start to shut down and they're saying stay off the roads and all your family is home and they're safe and all that. And so I like that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're giving permission to take a break. You know,
Right.
that you
Right.
can go, you know, get a movie on TV, make some popcorn or bake something or play a board game or, you know, something like that. Pull out a puzzle, start working on a puzzle because there's nowhere to go. There's nothing you can do, right? I
Right.
like that.
Right.
I do. Waiting for spring. To tell you the truth, my thoughts don't go in that direction physically until probably around March-ish. So when we're in January, I do enjoy those days when, like today, it was really high wispy clouds and the air was so crisp and clean. And that to me is, I enjoy that a lot. Yeah. So, you know, when we talk about this time of year, and my thoughts always go to the medicine wheel and how that template, the energetic template, helps us to understand where we are and what nature is doing because we're a part of nature, and you know, and how we're going within, right? And things are a little bit slower. And what did you say earlier? You said something about like things look like they're not alive. You know, that especially like trees, because they don't have any leaves on them, they look like they're dead, but they're not. There's a whole lot going on down in the root system. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same for us, you know. Just because we're a little bit quieter, we're not on the go as much because of the weather. Yeah, we still have a lot going on. Maybe even those meditations or the yoga or whatever, right? There's a lot more going on. Yeah.
Right.
Did you want to show that one picture that you have by?
Yeah. Do the winter picture with the swing in it, the woods picture, because
Oh no, not that one. You want the trees one? That one.
yeah, the trees one first. We do want it. There we go. Yeah. So you know, this was taken at my 36th Street house, and it was when the morning light's just coming up. The sun's just coming up. But it was, I think we'd had a snowstorm because I was out. I usually am out taking photographs after snowstorms because there's such beauty there. But I think about, you know, knowing what all those plants, like that's all like a lot of raspberry brambles, and there's probably poison ivy in there, and pine trees and oak trees, and you know, thinking about what it looks like in the spring and summer, there's a lot of activity because those plants don't die. They're perennials. You know, it's not like annuals that they do die. They're dead. These plants are thriving.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't look like it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually got one of my worst cases of poison ivy was in a late fall after a frost when all the leaves were gone, and I was out, I don't know, being ridiculous, planting some bulbs that I got on sale, like in, you know, end of November, December. And I dug in, you know, because I couldn't tell that I was digging into poison ivy because there were no leaves, or, you know, I wasn't seeing what was above the surface. But underground, those roots were potent. And I got the worst case on my forearms that year. We're talking red, crusty boils, you know, it was awful. Yeah. So I really learned to respect the roots and what's happening beneath the surface. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're just sleeping. I you know, in the fall, I always talk to my garden about when, you know, just putting your blanket on you, putting you to sleep, put a little leaves on top of you, and have you get ready for your rest.
Yeah.
because they need it, and we need it too. Again, there's the cue from nature. We need this cycle of rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to say hi to Julie. Julie Shumway Hill's with us. Good afternoon, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Julie, yay! Julie makes me so happy whenever I see her name because she is our new Star Nations Academy. Yay!
Yes. That's so good.
Yeah. There's, that hermetic law, right? As above, so below, as within, so without.
Right.
And so when I see pictures like this, and we're talking about it in the context of it, just because it looks this way on the surface doesn't mean it's the same way below. And also that we emulate Grandmother Earth. And so when many of her other children are napping right now, and gathering energy, right? And so yeah, and don't we feel better, generally speaking, when we take that time to rest? I should talk, right? When we take that time to rest.
Right.
Hey, Andrea's here. Hey, Andrea. Andrea's here with us.
Well, it's kind of like, it's like a spiritual hibernation.
Yes.
That you can choose to take.
You gotta take that in there. I love that. I remember when you use that as a title for one of your articles.
Yeah.
Spiritual.
Last year, I think it was last year in January. I wrote an article for the Star Nations magazine about spiritual hibernation, and that time of letting go, releasing. It's a really good time to do a cleanse. It's a really good time to do clutter clearing in your home too. All those inner pieces, that inner restoration, before we, spring out into the world in spring and summer, and we're running and we're going, and the days are longer. So we're actually, I'm much more active in the summer because I have a lot more daylight to do more work in,
Yeah.
Where the dark and the cold slow you down.
Yes.
In a good way.
When I was doing my planning and research for the show, and was looking at the word hibernation, and how they described it was that for animals that their metabolic system slows down so much that they're basically in a suspended state, right? They're sleeping, and that it's a misnomer that bears hibernate. They don't really sleep. They're in a different state. And that's something I knew, I found out today. That was one of those, oh my gosh. And there's another word they use for it. Hang on, I just have to get the word here. Torpor. I'm gonna put it in the
torpor or torpid, torpor.
Well, here, let me get it in the. Gotta click so many different things to get there.
Well, I thought
this is the word. This is the word, torpor.
Interesting that they are also pregnant and in gestation.
Yes.
During the winter months, so that's why they have to put on all that fat before they go in, so they can nourish themselves. That the usually two that they have or more.
Here, I'm going to put up the bear picture. Hang on, while we're talking about them, just so that their energy is completely with us here, rather than have one standing in front of me. There we go. It was. I was really. I learned something, and it's a great Scrabble word too. Not only, excuse me, it says that it's a common misconception that bears hibernate during winter, While bears tend to slow down during the winter, they are not true hibernators. Black bears, grizzly bears, and brown bears do go into a deep sleep during the winter months, known as torpor. Hibernation is when animals sleep through the winter. And that comes from a website that's called bigcat.org. Bigcat.org. And then I had to look up torpor then, right? Just to understand it. And it says it's a state of decreased physiological activity in an animal, usually by a reduced body temperature and metabolic rate. Torpor enables animals to survive periods of reduced food availability as well.
Wow.
So they
I have a story
with or without.
I have a story about that.
Yeah.
I have a story about something that went torpor. How do you spell that?
Torpor?
T-O-P?
Yeah. T-O-P. Torpor.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember my son Stefan looked that up and told me. I had a hummingbird that went torpor on my hummingbird feeder one fall because I had the food out too long, and he was clenched onto, the perch on the feeder, and he wasn't moving. And I went out, I could see that he was still alive, but he was paralyzed almost. Of course, I called my son Stefan, who's the animal expert in our family, and he said, "Mom, it's torpor." He did say that word. No, you need to bring it. Get it off the perch if you can, and bring it in the house and just get it warm. Its body needs to get warmed up. And so, then I brought it in and thought, what room should I put this bird in? Because if it, wakes up and starts flying around. This was in the log home that had the, super high ceilings. So I don't want it to be loose in the house to try to get it out.
Oh.
But I did have the hot tub room, which was warm, but it had an outdoor exit, but it was a room, but it was warmer. So I put it in a box in that room, and it did slowly come back and, enough awake that I finally could, kind of set the box outside the door, and it took off. But it wasn't that it was super cold. We just had a few cold nights, and it just got stuck, so yeah.
And most people don't consider what happens to the birds, because the migratory birds, yes, we understand that they fly south, someplace warm, but we also have birds that stay here year round. And so sometimes you don't see them, you don't even hear them, like the cardinals, you don't hear them or see them. And so sometimes I think that they probably go through torpor as well. We just don't see them.
Right. Well, I see them at the feeder, and I've watched the chickadees all head toward this one hollow in a tree one time. And so again, do they hang out in the winter together? And he said, yes, sometimes they do. To stay warmer, they'll hang out in a group in a hollow log. Yeah. Like that. So yeah. It's interesting.
Then I had to look at, okay, so who really does hibernate? If bears aren't is a misnomer, that it's not, correct that they're hibernators, then who is? And skunks and bats hibernate.
Yeah. They sleep. They're sleeping.
They're sleeping. Yes. So when we talk about this in regard to Earth centering, that they're just like us, they are so connected to Grandmother Earth, actually more so than we are, because they actually listen to the cycles and the rhythm of Grandmother Earth, and they're in rhythm with her. Many times we're out of rhythm with her.
Right.
And so it's what would it be like if we were more aware of that? I'd be napping a lot more.
Yeah.
I would.
We'd all take our vacations in the winter so we could sleep. Yeah. So now she showed the art picture.
Okay.
I wanted to share this beautiful piece of art. The artist's name is Wendy Andrew, and I'm gonna put it in the comments because you need to check this woman's art out. She's an artist from the UK, and her website is paintingdreams.com UK. Put that in. She has some beautiful cards, silk wall hangings.
Mm.
Let me finish this. UK. And her name is Wendy Andrew.
I love that picture.
I love it too. And the name of this one is called Winter Mother Protection.
Oh, Winter Mother Protection. I thought it was called hibernation. All right.
Isn't that beautiful? No, I labeled it that, and then I went and I actually, because I found it in an image, and then I went to her website today and found the name of it.
Winter Mother Protection?
Winter Mother. So she does a lot of in the last 2 years, she started doing more goddess paintings. Her father was a fine artist, and she went to all his like classes with him since she was 6. And it's kind of in her blood. She grew up with it. But she has something, and beautiful cards and Christmas cards, like solstice cards. I'm like, oh, this is where I want to get my cards for next year from her collections. But
so sweet. I love all the color, the swirls.
I love the deer walking on her hair that's like snow, it's like he's in a snow field. Yeah. It's her. I just love that.
Look who showed up as soon as we started showing artwork.
The artwork, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Oh, that's cute.
At the right time. And Andrea's saying, beautiful. It is beautiful. And the fact that she has her artwork for sale in many different forms, and I could see this.
Right.
If I were into Christmas cards and sending Christmas cards, these are the kind of cards I would get.
Exactly. She has even like really cool solstice cards and Beltane cards, and oh my gosh.
All right, we're gonna have to go. We're all gonna head over to Wendy's website after the show.
Yeah,
Painting
Dream, paintingdreams.com.uk. Painting Dreams, isn't that a cool name too? What she's doing.
I love that. Thank you for finding that for us.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't the one I was looking for, but I liked it even more than the one I was looking for. Oh.
A little synchronicity going on there.
Yeah, I was supposed to find her and give her a good shout out on the show today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whenever I see this this kind of artwork, and especially with, the divination cards that I'm currently using, I always want to talk to the artist. What was their process? How did they get to this point with the picture? And, what's how do they connect?
I was checking to see if she had done divination cards, because I would have loved to get those, because then you get more pieces of art. I didn't see it. And, I just saw card packs and individual cards.
Yeah.
And some of the printed canvases you can buy even from like a square printed canvas. So.
Yeah, very cool. So we need to talk to somebody about doing these kind of card depictions so that we can, somebody that we might know that's an artist. We won't name names.
Could do like, the equinoxes and the solstice goddesses.
Yeah. Exactly.
That'd be cool.
Gee, I wonder what kind of artist we could ask to do something like that.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe she can go to Wendy's site and get some ideas, get sparked. Yeah.
Oh,
The
Roberta's
artist's name, Wendy Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Roberta, Minnie put the artist name in the comments, along with the artist's website is in the comments. So I was just saying, we're after the show, we're all heading over to Wendy's website to go shopping. So, okay, earth centering. I have to ask this question, okay, because you and I worked on what, the topic and that sort of thing. But earth centering, why those words together for the title?
Well, as I was looking at all the different aspects of Earth, and there's so many of how I've studied Earth, but centering makes sense in a feng shui place, because in the Bagua, in feng shui, you got the 8 conditions, and in the center is health, which is held by the element Earth. So Earth is in the center. Earth is health. When you have all the other areas of the Bagua in balance, you have perfect health. Earth. Centering, grounded. It all makes sense to me that way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much for me about grounding, I think.
And that is huge right now. I mean, the energy around that is, and almost every card read that we're doing, there is something to do with grounding, no matter what show it is.
Right.
There's some cards that are about grounding. And in the afternoons, I'm constantly asking, my core group is, how many people have done their grounding today? And when we first started, not many people were, and now I would say more than half automatically do their grounding at least once a day. Yeah. So it is. It's a huge energy that is with us to help us to be more connected to grandmother, and so that we're more stable, right? We're calmer. Andrea's saying, I could maybe do it. Neshi, I will mention you later. Okay, good.
Yeah, please.
Why not? We have a lot of artists amongst us, because Christine said,
I know. We just need to recruit them.
I know. Why not?
We have some images for our shows too. Yeah, that grounding piece, and again, because I'm part of the nature and forest therapy, the Shinrin Roku peace movement that's going on, that is growing by leaps and bounds in the forest therapy. I was in cohort, the training for the Association of Nature and Forest Therapy. I was in cohort 4 2 years ago. They're training like number 32 now, I think. Wow. I mean,
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, we almost have 100 guides worldwide, and it's worldwide. It's not just U.S. pocket. It's worldwide. If you go on their site and you look at the map of where all the guides are, we're everywhere. New Zealand, Australia. Yeah, it's crazy cool, but it's about needing this group of people that know how to take people out into the nature and help them ground. It really is. Because we've forgotten how to do it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, really, and it's really a matter of remembering. Once you're out there and you have somebody giving you the kind of the parameters, your soul already knows, obviously, but it's our conscious self that starts the remembering. It's like, oh yeah, I remember how that felt, or how this feels. When I was a kid.
Exactly. They go back to their childhood so much, but I get concerned for our children now who aren't having the experiences that we had as much with nature. And, so I get really excited when I have kids on my walks.
Yeah.
Because they're going to share it with their friends, and they're going to.
Have you ever structured one just for children? Offered it just for
I
children?
haven't, but a lot of the guides have. You need a lot of assistance with it. You need they're telling me
So
one of the first things the kids do.
chaperones, right?
One of the first things the kids do is they all want to go pee in the woods. That's what they want to do first. Oh my God. But, you know, I mean, it's a whole different. It's a kind of different leading. But you know, but even if you get the parents into it, then they'll take it home to the kids too. You know, it's again relearning that, and it's so much that it's not safe. I hear so much it's not safe to be in the woods anymore. You know, it's not safe.
Yeah.
So, you know, creating places or groups where it's you feel safe. And sometimes that's a perceived that it's not safe, and it really is, but other times that might be true and you might not want to go alone, but most of the time it's a perception of fear that you bring in, you know, that I see people bring in, and then they get out there and go, oh, it's not so bad, you know, or it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be you know. So
for instance, when we travel with you through nature travel adventures, you have an opportunity for those who travel with you to experience forest bathing during that trip, right?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Even more so. I did one in Italy and Greece, but the next trips there'll be 2-3 days of it at least. Yeah. Maybe more.
Julie Hedges.
Hi, Julie.
Hello, Julie.
Hi.
You know, which is, I think, it's not just a benefit of the trip, like it's a, you know, a side thing. No,
it's an add-on. Yeah,
like as an add-on. No. Yeah. It really is a time for you to be able to remember what it's like to be in nature, because we get so busy in our daily lives that we forget to go out there. You know, we forget to do our grounding, even if you're indoors, and we forget to really bring Grandmother Earth into our daily lives.
Yeah. But for me, going to these sacred sites and tuning into the earth in that way gives you a much deeper understanding of where you are in the world, you know, what you're really experiencing, more opportunity to hear messages from the earth, you know, on your own.
Yes.
And to have a deeper personal experience, you know, rather than a historian telling you what happened on this land in, you know, the last 100 years. I would love to take groups and have them create their own experience of what happened for them. And maybe they perceive what happened hundreds, thousands of years ago in that, you know, in that land on their own. But I think that's a much more profound experience than having a tour guide. I get really bored with tour guides really fast.
So Bobby has a question for you. Minnie, where are you? Yeah. Woods are amazing.
Roberta, I'm in Lyons, Michigan, near Portland, between Lansing and Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm sure I could recruit some people to help me.
All right, so but Roberta brings up a good point here, you know, is that Minnie is actually going to be here at Star Nations Academy in June, the weekend of June 15th, for forest immersion, forest bathing. So that's her first time in 2019 that she'll be here, and it won't be the only time, but it'll be her first time here in 2019. And so that's June 15th. We're going to get all of the classes that are coming up listed, and descriptions and registration and all of that. Hopefully by the end of February, we should have them all listed. You're talking to me, you're talking to Rosie.
Yeah, she's growling at herself in the mirror. She growls at her mirror. your dog self a lot. Yeah. It's
Hi,
because she's
Rosie.
looking out the window now.
Rosie is Minnie's dog, her little pup. And so Bobby, Minnie is going to be here at the weekend of June 15th, and she'll be leading a class in forest therapy. So we'll get that listed for you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Neshi's
Yeah.
Woods is so amazing. There's so much to explore. I feel like I've just touched the surface of what's going on there at Star Nations Academy. It's so
Yeah.
such a deep, rich woods.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Roberta, or Bobby, so that we can mention Minnie's class, and we're going to keep that in mind, because maybe we'll do a children's one here, and we'll be tapping your shoulder, Bobby, and saying, "We're doing a kids first, baby. Chaperones."
Right. Well, yeah, at least you don't have any water, hazards we'd have to, worry about.
That's true. You didn't locate very much poison ivy here at all, I don't think.
That was really surprising. That was awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was there in September, and it would have been, full out. Yeah, I had to really hunt for it because I wanted to show people to ID it, and I had to really hunt it down.
Yeah, I think it was on the other side of the house, actually. It wasn't on this side. Yeah. On the western side.
Yeah.
No, here's Bobby. She's saying, "Love, it'll be there. I can help." And Roberta is also, she was just going to say, I was just going to tell them, Bobby, that you're a photographer.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so we might just even have you come over in June just to take a couple of pictures for us. That would be
great. I do. It's hard for me to take photos and lead the course at the same time and not interrupt. Like, you have to be a really sneaky photographer for forest therapy, because you don't want to get the people out of their connection. So you have to be really quiet and sneaky, and they're usually watching where I am. So it's hard to do that. So it would be helpful to have another photographer on board. So what else have we got pictures about? I'm trying to remember.
Just going to say, here, I'm just going to bring up one, and you can tell us about it. I love this.
Oh, stone people. Oh. Okay, this is in Rocky Mountain National Park on Gem Lake Trail. There are these rock formations that just, you just feel like you're walking into stone guardians or elders. Talk about stone people. They're there, and I just see faces and different faces every time I do that hike, and I've got to take more photographs. But I loved these. And they look like they were just kind of hunkering in, over you as you're walking, because they're huge. They're huge. This is way above me on the trail. So,
well, we're going to be showing quite a few pictures about stones, and I want to explain why. Is that for me on the medicine wheel in the north, where January is due north on the wheel, is that's where I place the stone people. They're the land record keepers. They're the historians. These stone people have been here for millennia. They've seen so much going on Earth in their area, and they're also on a mountain, right? It looks like it.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, mountains, they have such a big energy and a huge energy field that you can feel them for miles before you even get to them. And so they're the land record keepers. They're kind of like, for the oceans, they'd be like the whales. The whales are the record keepers of the ocean. Yeah. So that's why you're going to see so many pictures of stone people. Because for me, they're in the north, and if you've ever heard me call in the directions, we're calling to the stone people to come, and it's about wisdom, right? It's about wisdom. And so, Minnie, when you've been to these places, because I know that you sit with the stone people and connect with them, did they ever tell you about the history of the place and the changes that they've seen there? experienced?
Well, last September when I was at Rocky, I had never meditated with like a whole mountain before, and I decided to meditate with the mountain and to see what he had to say. And he was very pleased that I tuned in and acknowledged that he had, his own energy. It wasn't just, oh, it's the Rocky Mountains, the mountain range. No, this was Hallett Peak, and it was its own energy. And he said, yeah, the people come and they walk on me, and that's fine. And I give them energy, and they share their energy with me. And, it was very much a give and take that happens with mountain climbing and hiking. Interesting that, but he's kind of, it's kind of like showing me, like, if you had little like bugs crawling in your hair, that's what it feels like.
This is what two-leggeds feel like to them.
This is what you look like, kind of, to me, and it's okay. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh my God.
So,
Julia,
some of them aren't as safe as others. It can be scary. But he was just really happy that I saw him. That's
acknowledging.
Yeah. Very grateful that I saw him.
Yeah.
Julie, and so are these stone people. When they take on these the persona of humans to get our attention, I think that's what they do. Yeah. And they, kind of look like they have eyes and noses and mouths.
Right.
It's to get us to look at them. Hey, I'm up here.
This is a great picture. Julie Hedges is saying having their own conversation.
Yes. Yeah. Probably about those little ants crawling on them. Ant people.
Yeah, and I love that little tree, that little conifer, that little pine tree.
Yeah.
It's a baby compared to them, right?
Right. But it's All
right. Let's bring up the next one, the next picture. Oh, I like this one. You got a story about this one.
Oh yeah. Oh, this stone. This stone actually has the name Timothy. He told me he's an aviary in England, and I met him like 10 years ago. He called me from the bus. I was on a tour, but I was on not one of my tours. I was on someone else's tour. Went to aviary for the first time. I'm on the bus. We're trying to figure out where the bus is going to park, and I'm looking out the window, and the stone is calling, Minnie, come and see me, Minnie, you're here. And I'm just like, the stone is talking to me, And so I get off the bus, I run over to him, It's like we're old friends, It's like, oh, Timothy, you are so cool, I just love you. And I just, so I had my photo taken with Timothy, and I have a painting of it in my house. And then when we went back and took another photo, had another photo taken, and he's really interesting. See how those openings in him, those holes. I'd taken him a gift this time, and I had taken him a crystal Merkaba stone, and I was going to place it, in one of those little, openings, one of those little caves, and it had some other herbs and things I was giving him. I think I had cornmeal I was giving him, and I put the Merkaba in the hole, and it just like dropped deep. It sunk. It went away. It wasn't just like sitting on a ledge. It went down in. He has a Merkaba inside of him now, which he's very pleased with. Yeah. But I just love him. He is so sweet, and I never have enough time to spend with him. I need to go spend a whole week in Avery, and all the stones want to talk to me there. They want me to write a book about all of them, and I'm just like, oh goodness.
That would be
So
cool.
we'll see. We'll see, but I need time.
Julie's asking a
So
question.
Julie's asking what voice of the I think she's talking about the mountain or
Yeah,
Timothy?
the previous picture. Mm-hmm.
You know, it was very slow and very deep, almost, I want to say almost ant like. Kind of you know, kind of gravelly, and
their cadence is slow. They talk
very slow and low, and yeah, you got to. There's a lot of pausing that happens and waiting between words because they're not in a hurry, and they don't have to be. They never have been in a hurry.
Yeah.
So you have to have patience too. I should say that. But actually, Timothy was pretty darn. When he talked to me from the bus, though, he was a lot chipper than the mountain was. So maybe it depends on your size, but Timothy talks a bit faster, and so did the Stones. A very
well, Timothy feels
that were trying to get me to write.
Timothy's always felt to me, maybe it's because of his name, has always felt to me more youth-like, like somebody in their teens or something like that,
Yeah.
Not quite a child.
Yeah, compared to the Stones, like if you put the Stonehenge stone up picture we have. You have that one, Neshi?
Which one?
Because Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, yeah. Let's see. Do I? Yes, here it is.
Because this face, you guys can see that's a much older energy of a stone. And do you see the face in the stone? And I did not see that face in that stone when I was there 10 years before. That one, for me at least, just showed up. And I'm usually pretty perceptive and taking a lot of photographs. I have to go back and look, because when I went the 10 years before or whatever, it didn't have a digital camera then. It was, film. Or it was film, because I have a print album of that trip. So I should go look at those pictures, but I don't remember him being there. But you can feel the different energy from Avebury to Stonehenge.
Yes.
Just by these two, zeroing in on these two stone beams.
Right. Bobby's got a statement here. She says, an Merkabah gift. Parfreeze Glen and Bearables people place could stay there for hours. We have. Parfreeze Glen is one of my favorite places. In fact, so favorite that I took my sisters there a few years ago.
Yes. Yeah. I was thinking, is that where we went? That was so beautiful. Yeah, lots of stone beams there.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. We went, let's see, I used to go there before it was washed out. I don't know. I can't even remember the years. But yeah, Parfreeze Glen for me was a perfect place to drum because of the acoustics. And did a lot of meditations there, took many, many students there. And the last time we were there, we drummed together, if I remember right, at Parfreeze Glen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we need to go back and do that again.
I think so too. I agree.
Yeah. Next time we're at your place again.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the next picture you'd like to have? The gossiping one.
Let's do the Mesa Verde, the gossips.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Yeah, me too. Mesa Verde.
So and you can you drive all the way around this grouping of stones, and it looks like there's like 4 or 5 people all gathered together talking, and it's called the Gossips. I mean, in Utah at the national park, it's called the Gossips. And this is actually, I said Mesa Verde, this is Arches National Park in Utah. Yeah. Um, but it does look like, women all getting together, having a chat, and very much turned inward toward each other rather than outward too. So they're kind of in their own space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always wonder who named this, because if it were us, we would be naming it something like, ceremony or ritual or,
Right. Goddess gathering, that's what I would call it.
Right.
You could rename it.
Well, shift the feeling around that. But no, when I first saw this one, I thought, well, first of all, against the blue sky like that, gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. But it's it reminded me of community.
And that's another good name for it, Neshi.
Yeah.
Arches is a beautiful place. It's really hot. We were there in July, and we had to hike really early in the morning because by 10 o'clock it was 105 degrees, so we'd start out at like 6 and try to do a quick hike before.
So that's a winter trip.
I don't know that it even gets cooler in the winter there. I think it's just hot there all the time. Yeah.
Well, it's a desert.
But it's a really beautiful place, though, and the stone people are really very alive and active there. Yeah.
Yes. I was going to ask something. Actually, maybe share something is probably a better way of saying it. So we're talking about stone people and earth centering, right? And so many times we may need to be remembered that we can connect to the stone people anytime. That many of us, and I bet you anything, looking at the people in the chat, if we pulled our crystals and stones together, we would have a massive store.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would.
And so just a question for our guests, our audience here is, do you have a stone or crystal that is kind of like your go-to to connect with, whether it's for grounding, which is a good thing, or maybe with your spiritual work, like angel energy or something like that? Do you guys have one that is kind of like your go-to? It's your best ally.
Like your ally.
Your best ally.
Yeah, your ally.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah. Because we can get so much information from them if we just slow down like they do and hold them and connect with them and ask them to tell me your story. That's what I like to do. I want to hear your story. And they'll tell you parts of their experience, and and it's one of the things that Mervyn Kelly does best, I think, is when he talks about the stones and the crystals, and that connecting to their natural way of being, rather than programming them and making them do something of your will, rather than in a co-creation. And and many of the pictures here, Minnie, that's what that reminds me of, is that you're in co-creation with the stone people. That it's not it's there. You're not asking them to do something for you to program it in a certain way, right?
Right. You're just being with them, and it's like getting to know a friend, really. It's developing a relationship with them. Fall's the best time to go to the Arches. How good. It does get cold in the winter. Yay.
Good one, Andrea. Thanks for sharing.
It probably gets 70. Probably gets decent.
Yeah. Bobby's saying massive rock collection, selenite and fossil coral. Please, let's drum. Must be amazing. Glad to hear someone else has meaningful conversations with stones and old trees too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. I gotta back up just a little bit here. Andrea is also saying, I just love the ricks from our local mountains here, the Wasatch Mountains. They're beautiful with many colors. Where's the Wasatch Mountains at, Andrea? I don't know my geography very well in mountain ranges.
She meant the rocks, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what's a rick? But then I realized she meant rocks.
It's rocks, not ricks.
Yeah. I thought, what's a rick? I haven't heard of that kind of rock.
Is that like a coulee? If you can let us know where the Wasatch Mountains are, that would be great. Julie Shumway Hill is saying, I keep an amethyst on my desk and a black tourmaline at the base of my computer.
Yeah.
Yay. A lot of people use hematite for their computer stuff. But if tourmaline does it, that's great.
Yeah.
Gotta go up a little bit here. Christine says, I have lots of rocks. I've been collecting my whole life. I know. Like I said, looking at who's in the chat, if we pooled our stones and our crystals together, we would have a massive store.
Oh
my gosh. And Andrea is saying Utah by Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's where the mountains are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The Wasatch.
The Wasatch Mountains. Yeah. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But this was, all your pictures that you shared with us today, Minnie, I have to say this was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do we have any others that we haven't seen yet? Here's Timothy, the Stone People. Oh, here's one. Did we talk about this one?
Oh, no. This is on that same trail where we had the two goddesses talking to each other, the two wise women. This is on the same trail, and I couldn't find a photo farther out, but at Rocky Mountain, when you go with us, Neshi, this September, you'll see there are two big stones that face over the city of Estes Park. That are it is called Twin Owls Peak, and they look like two owls that are like just cuddled up next to each other. They're huge, but these remind me, of baby owls here, kind of. But this is on Twin Owls, on Twin Owls Mountain. So this kind of rock formation, and again on the Gem Lake Trail, there's a beautiful lake back in about 2.5 miles, and it's not too far of a hike. Back in in a hollowed out big rock formation. There's a gorgeous lake called Gem Lake.
I can't wait to see it. When is it? September.
September, yep. 15th through the 21st, yep.
Yeah, that's one of many trips to Colorado, I would imagine, that you'll be organizing.
Yes.
The Wasatch Mountain Range runs north and south through northern Utah. Thank you for that, Andrea. Now I can kind of know the physical placement of that. Thank you. And Terry is saying, rose quartz. I lost twins when I was 4 months pregnant at 29. My heart was breaking. I found a necklace with a large crystal that immediately calmed my heart, and the twins surrounded me with their love. Aww, that is so sweet. And have that kind of loss and have the stones
the
come
comfort
in and help you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're really good at that.
Really. And thank you for sharing that, Terry. Yeah. Actually, I've got rose quartz on right now. I've been wearing this for a long time because I'm working on some other stuff, and so it's helpful.
Beautiful.
And Julie is saying, and then there's my sandstone collection all around me. Now, Julie and I go way back. We go back to first grade, and all through elementary, junior high, and high school. And where Julie still lives in our hometown in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, and yes, it's surrounded by sandstone.
Oh,
yes, yeah. So I think she's talking about the physical placement of where, the Dells is at. and the kind of rock formations around the Wisconsin Dells area. Yeah.
Living in that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have in Wisconsin, we have a very unique quartz that they used in World War II for communication along the Baraboo Mountain or Baraboo Bluff Range. They would ping from there to the ships and submarines out in the oceans.
Wow.
Communication, yeah. And that sandstone in the area that Julie is talking about, our sand here is very unique as well because it's it's round, it's smooth. The sand is, and so it's really good for like body scrubs and that sort of thing. But it's also good for other things like fracking, and that's one of the things that we that we talk about quite a bit here in Wisconsin. So the stone people,
Well, that's interesting. You're bringing up the sand too, because the grounding aspects of just going to the beach,
yes,
are wonderful too. Like that's what I love to do, is just bury my feet in the sand when I go to Florida and just really get grounded that way.
And it's a great natural pedicure, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And what better way than to spend some time at the beach and have your feet in the sand and listening to the surf, listening, you're right in between. Yeah. Can you believe it? We're at the top of the hour.
I know. I just noticed that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because we're talking about something we love,
So, Minnie, we're going to go over by a couple minutes here, but that's okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the trips that you're planning and where people can contact you for either feng shui, space clearing, forest bathing, or the travel?
Yep. Well, the best place to contact me for all of that in one place is my website at kansman.com. Pretty easy. And my books are for sale there too. I have this trip to Colorado is fully booked for September. I have a wait list. I have one person on it right now. If we have any cancellations. But I am planning in 2020 a trip to northern Scotland, which I'm really excited about. And part of that trip will be we'll be going to Findhorn Gardens and learning about elementals and connecting with the land through the elementals. And that will be one of our first stops. And then we'll take that theme all the way through to the Isle of Skye and Isle of Iona and stone circles and all of that. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a very earth-based trip as well. And I'm teaching the forest therapy at Star Nations Academy, like Neshi said,
June 15th.
June, thank you. June 15th. I know. And Neshi's here to do drum making May 18th.
May 18th.
May 18th. I'm super. Yeah, she's here. Then I'm there. Almost, the middle of the month, about a month apart. So, drum making is all about that earth and grounding too. So, and I'm talking about what you're probably going to talk about, but you've got that about half full, and it's filling up very quickly. So, if you're interested in making a drum, really you need to go to the Academy site and get your $50 registration fee down so that you have your place secure. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to get the garden all gorgeous for it, and I'm so happy to be hosting it here. Yeah.
When is your next forest bathing excursion?
Well, I'm debating because I wanted to do it in January, but it's just like, it's cold, it's cold. And we had that 150 degree day, and I was like, oh, this would have been perfect. Yeah. So I'm not totally sure yet. I may, just if I see another warm weekend coming up, if I see it, coming up like a week before, I might just do a spontaneous one.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion? Because it just came in. Sure. So I need to say it. At Star Nations Academy closed group, right here at Facebook. We do those free mini classes, and I was wondering if you could do like maybe a free, the meditation that you do for the forced therapy. We might not be outdoors, but we could do the meditation indoors in a cold month. Yeah. Would you be up for that?
Yeah. Sure.
That way people could get a
indoor
taste of what you do.
Right. And also, for that, people could bring a plant near them or a stone or something, to hold. And there's a nature connection. I mean, that's you bring it into your house in the winter,
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Let's put that on. Okay. We'll talk offline. Bobby is saying, I love this group. All my soul sisters.
Oh, we love you too.
We love you too, Bobby. And Andrea is saying, I love talking about nature. Thank you. You're welcome. Welcome, Andrea. I'm so glad you're here with us. And here we go. Bobby says, book 2 for Scotland.
I know that trip is.
That's going to be cool before even 2020 rolls around.
It really is. It shows me how much people are craving to be connected in that way and to travel, to other sites, because these trips I just start talking about and then people want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just started talking about Scotland, and I was getting all, I was okay. I got to show our audience what I was doing. I was doing the jazz hands and clapping. Scotland. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going. The money is not the problem. It's the challenge is getting care from mom in place for that many days. But
right.
If I start working on it now, I can have it pulled together by then. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being with us today and this afternoon to talk about earth centering and the stone people and hibernating and grandmother earth. Thank you for being here. And those that are going to be watching the recorded version of this, thank you for being here too. And if we could ask you to also like and share the live stream recorded show, that would be great if you could do that for us. And so here, I've got one more. Sorry. Julie says, Scotland would be interesting. It's a home of my ancestors.
Oh.
You'll have to consider that then, huh, Julie? See how you can fit that in. But, Minnie, do you have any last words for our audience?
Just, to really look at what blessings you can find with winter and with grounding and centering and slowing down. Give yourself permission to slow down. Just give yourself permission to do it. Mm-hmm. Follow nature's.
Yeah, good one. I like that too. My final words for the day are, come join us at 7 p.m. tonight for Polly Joe's show, Soul Connections.
Yeah.
Really, that's a good place to slow down because it's all about healing. It's all about healing. And so if you have something that you're working on with the healing aspect, whether it's releasing something or healing your personal work, come. Bring your intention, bring your spiritual team. It's a very powerful evening for the healing aspect. And then she does card readings too. So, 7 p.m. Eastern time, go to Chakra Sessions fan page and she'll be broadcasting from there. We can maybe put the link in the comments after the show here. And thank you so much for being with us. Yeah.
And
sharing information about the stones that you have. Anyway, with that, we'll see you next month for Nature Adventures in February. So enjoy the rest of the month, you guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.